What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. A little bit later than usual today, usually 2 o'clock, but if you was on stream yesterday, there was drillings going on next door. They're mashing down their house, making a whole heap of noise, so I thought I'd wait till 3 o'clock today, but I can't guarantee the noise won't continue. They're still smashing up their house. But anyway, people, we're back. Football is back this weekend. Arsenal against Man United. Biggest, for me, still my favourite game in the Premier League. I've got to be honest. I know Man United are not what they used to be, and I know Arsenal are not what they used to be, but this was always the game growing up that, you know, the most smack talk, the most, you know, just the rivalry was there. And by the way, on time today, by the way, because I see people in the chat. Look, Chris said, has Curtis ever not been late? Bang on 3 o'clock today. From what I can see anyway, but I'm sure people will tell me their clock hours late. But hey, we got press conference reaction with Arteta and also Ten Hag as well. Some Man United players have come back, some won't be able to play, and we'll look ahead to the weekend. Obviously, Man City playing against Fulham. They're flying kites after training and smiling in the sunshine. You know, are they going to do anything? We've got Willian, Leno and Iwobi at Fulham, 3 former Arsenal players. So surely there'll be a little bit of motivation for Fulham to do something. And if you're a hip-hop fan, by the way, Game has decided to diss Rick Ross, and he's gone crazy on the diss track. Nobody knows why, because he hasn't said anything to him, but it's a good diss track, I can't lie. So if you are a hip-hop fan, go and check out that Game diss track to Rick Ross. It's a good track. I think because Ross has dissed Drake and Game's friends with Drake and something along those lines. But we know Game loves a bit of clout, so go and listen to that after this show, of course. But big up to everyone. Hope you're having a great Friday. Big up John and big up Agitated Shinobi, who said, yes, Curtis, big up from Zanzibar. You're defo on Swahili time. Better late than never, people. BX Gunner, Sanchez, Killer. Yo, Alexis. When I put Alexis on the green screen, it causes controversy because some people say he's a snake, he went to Man United. But, you know, Alexis, man, I still feel he was a special, special player. And let's be honest, the best thing he did at Man United was play the piano. He didn't do anything as a player. So, you know, he stunk out the place and got 500 grand a week until they released him. So, you know, we'll forgive him on that one. How was your fight with the neighbours? Oh, mate, listen, no fights. But, yeah, they're reconstructing all of the house inside, man. It's a whole heap of noise. So, well, hopefully they won't be working over the weekend when we're doing watch-alongs and that. The game is good friends with... Oh, last of them. Big up to you. Big C, I don't like the way it ended with Alexis. To be honest, if you look at it, how many big players at Arsenal are we comfortable with the way they left? Aubameyang left, no goodbye, no opportunity for the fans. Ozil left during lockdown, no fans. Alexis, 1 minute he was at Arsenal, next minute he's playing the piano like Alicia Keys. You've then got, who else? Fabregas, you know, refused to play, or they reckon he faked an injury. Next minute at Barca, I don't think many big players. Thierry's probably the only one, really, where he genuinely left and got to say goodbye to the fans and all of that good stuff. So it doesn't often happen, does it? Big up Guna Galaxy. Hey, Curtis, huge fan of your show. When you come to LA, visit Creature Comforts in downtown. I work there if you love a cold beer. Hey, big up, man. I'll let the guys know. Appreciate that. Cole said, only in 2024 can a content creator yell at a contractor. Keep it down, I'm trying to work here. Hey, listen, work comes in all forms and ways, you know. But yeah, you're right. Things have definitely changed a lot. They definitely have. Henri cried when he left. He did. He did. I always said Henri was never the same when he went to Reebok boots. Part of Henri and what made him so special was the socks over the knees and the mercurial vapours, you know. As soon as he went and put them big, hefty Reebok boots on, that was not the same player. That was not Thierry Henry. That was Terry Henry. You know, that was not Thierry and them big old boots. But, hey, listen, big up to everyone locked in. Make sure you hit the like button. We're less than 50 away from 78k. So if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Let's do the damn thing. Let's hit 8k today and keep climbing that ladder. Road to 100k, people. Top 3 talented Arsenal players. Wow. I'd struggle to name the third, but the top two have got to be Thierry and Dennis Bergkamp. The third is, I don't know what, it depends what you define as talent. You know, you're talking about individual brilliance. Are you talking about how good they were in their particular role? You know, for me, and someone just said it, Santi Cazorla is one of the most talented footballers I've ever seen in terms of first touch, left foot, right foot. But then I would say Sanchez, Vieira, Van Persie, Fabregas, these guys all performed at a higher level than him. So it just depends what you define as skill. I really would struggle to answer with the third one. I'll be honest, I love Cesc Fabregas. I think to be in the Arsenal first team at 16 years of age, and I remember watching that guy and just thinking, you can't get the ball off him. He's that good. When you look at the career that he had, he's absolutely unbelievable. I think Fabregas, and I honestly think one of the biggest mistakes that Arsene Wenger ever made at this football club was not signing him back, because I think he got in his feelings about the way that he left. He was disappointed that he forced that move, went to Barcelona. The fact he had the shirt on, he put the buyback clause in his contract. When they offered him back to us, Wenger said no. The guy went to Chelsea and won the league. You know, so I think Arsene Wenger, I'd say, is one of his biggest mistakes. But yeah, Alexis as well, for me, I said it many times, he's the player that made me run to the Emirates. When I parked the car, I was sprinting there. He was just unbelievable to watch. You know, he played for Arsenal at the wrong time. You know, you need Alexis in this team now. Imagine having Sanchez on the left and Saka on the right, maybe getting a new striker. That's the kind of player we need in the summer. Van Persie was special as well. That left foot was genius. But hey, big up to everyone locked in. Anyway, let's get into today's show. A few things to talk about. Zach said Fabregas going to Chelsea is a betrayal I'll never be fine with. I always say with this, and I have had a lot of arguments with Arsenal fans about this. Sometimes we have to understand we're supporters, they're players. And sometimes you've got to look after your own career. Fabregas goes back to Barcelona. I don't think we can have a major problem with that. They were the best team on the planet. He's born and bred Barcelona. We put a buyback clause in his contract. Barcelona say, that's it, your career's done at Barca, we're selling you. We've got the buyback clause, and we say, no, we're not signing you. Because Wenger's in his feelings, and Mourinho turns up and says, come and play for me. You'll come and win the title. What do we expect him to do? People say, oh, Cesc betrayed Arsenal. He snaked us going to Chelsea. What's he meant to do, bro? He's got to look after his own career. He can't say, you know what, I'll sit on the bench at Barcelona because Arsenal fans will be annoyed with me. You've got to blame Wenger. Why did Wenger not sign Fabregas and bring him back? One of the best midfielders on the planet. So I have no problem with it. The guy went to Chelsea and won the title. He's got to look after his own career. You got to look at Arsene Wenger. He was too emotional. RVP and them ones now, that's a different conversation. Yeah, we can definitely talk about snake conversation when it comes to that. Anyway, let's move on, people. Let's move on. Let's talk about the news. We've got press conference reaction, a little bit of transfer news, and we'll look ahead to Manchester United. Got a little bit, and big up Zach though. Fair, you know, I appreciate, and this is what I'm always saying, people. We can always have a good footballing debate in the comments. Friend of mine works in the Arsenal shop. Messaged me this morning, said the new kit is in the store. Not available to buy, but they've got it in the back. I believe it's available from Thursday. Could be Wednesday, but Thursday. Arsenal will play in the home kit next weekend against Everton, as they now do. Final home game of the season. You're playing the new home kit, and this is confirmed now. This is the new home kit. This is it. It's based on kits of years gone by. They've brought the blue back in. And, I mean, it's neither here nor there. I actually think this year's home kit is one of the best home kits we've had in a long, long time. The one from this season, I think, is outstanding. And the fact they put the gold on it, it was like, you can't make a gold kit and then you're supposed to win the title in that gold kit. You know what I'm saying? So I think the kit we're in currently is better than the one we're about to move into. But I always say a kit is almost defined by the success that you have in it. You know, you win the title in a kit, all of a sudden it's a classic from day one. You've won the league in it. It goes down in history. You look at that black away kit we had last season. I think that's one of the best away kits we've had in years. But guess what? We didn't win anything. I don't wear that kit anymore. I might wear it in the gym, or if I'm, cutting the grass in the back garden. I'm not wearing that kit out on road as like, yo, I'm wearing this kit today. I don't know why. I just look at it and it just pains me. Because I see Martinelli at Anfield over hitting the pass to Saka when we should have beat Liverpool at Anfield. So I'm going to be honest. I don't think this home kit is that nice. And I know people will say it's red and white. You can't do too much to the home kit. It's not a bad kit, and I'll buy it. I'll buy it for the sake of the content and to balance out the tax, But I don't know. A lot of people, somebody just said that in the comment. They're saying there's not enough red on the kit, which I know that sounds a bit crazy, but you look, it's a very dominated by the white on the edge, and then obviously the blue, which is on the original badge of Arsenal. So, but this is the new home kit. It is coming out, I believe, this Thursday. Could be Wednesday. Man said do a garden watch along. Hey, if the internet signal was good enough there, I probably would do it. Why not? Sit out in the sunshine. The red is shaped like a bottle. It's outrageous what you're saying. And now I'm looking at it, all I can see is a bottle in the middle. And I don't like the fact that I can see a bottle in the middle. You're a disgrace. It looks like the red Prime bottle that KSI and Logan Paul brought out. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. You've bantered the living daylights out of my team, but you actually nailed it. So I can't even. Man said Shakira. And the hips don't lie. Swinging them hips. Listen. Are we going to be wearing this kit as champions? That's all I want to know. Because remember, this kit comes out Thursday. We could be champions in this kit by Sunday about 6:30. So that's all I'm on. I want to see Arsenal lift the Premier League title in this. But, hey, listen, it's all right. It's a home kit. If we win the title, cool. If we don't. What do you guys think about the badge as well? We keep sort of playing around with the badge, and they've gone with the old badge now. Rather than the original Arsenal one that we've been using, they've gone purely for the cannon now. I actually don't mind the cannon, but listen, let's move on anyway. It'll be out on Thursday if you want to get it. I will get it on Thursday, and I'll do a review of it. Although saying that, if it goes wrong at Old Trafford, I probably won't be doing anything on Thursday when it comes to kits. We'll be doing, if we don't win at Old Trafford, I'll be doing Arsenal rehab for the next 3 months probably. Or we might just turn this into we'll do, I don't know, the Gold Cup. We'll just turn it into a Jamaica channel. We'll do the Gold Cup. Or we'll do New York Knicks, NBA playoffs, and we'll have to lock it all off. Anyway, let's talk Arsenal. Let me just read out these super chats. Alfred said, people always talk about Fab playing at 16, but forget how special Wilshere was. I feel like on a talent level, Wild here and Diaby. Oh, Wilshere and Diaby are up there. Do you know what it is, though, bro? The reality is, Wilshere, 16, 17, was in the first team. How long did he do it for? How consistent was he? I've seen Adama Traore put in performances that make him look like one of the most unplayable wingers on the planet. Guess what? You don't see that performance for another 3 months. I'm calling him a greased-up turkey. Now, I'm not comparing Jack Wilshere to Adama Traore. Wilshere was a talent. Injuries ruined his career. Fabregas was bossing Vieira at Highbury at 17 years of age when Vieira was playing for Juventus. Fab's playing in World Cup finals for Spain. There's levels, bro. Wilshere, unfortunately, injuries. He hit the ceiling, it stopped him. Same with Diaby. Diaby would have been sensational at Arsenal. Thomas Rosicky should have been a world beater. Santi Cazorla should have been one of the best ball-playing centre mids you've ever seen in the Premier League. Injury prone, so it's the reality of the situation. I hear you, talent level, cool, but if you're injury prone, it'll stop you, and that's the reality. Let's go, Knicks. Come on, man, let's do this. Following the Knicks and being an Arsenal fan, you must genuinely just love punishment. It's as simple as that. I've always kind of liked the Knicks. Patrick Ewing, Jamaican-born Carmelo Anthony, always been a fan of Carmelo. You know what I mean? LeBron's being linked with the Knicks as well. I'd love to see that happen. Kuna Carla says, breaking, Saka now has gold and white New Balance boots. I mean, I don't know if it's breaking news, but, you know, if he wins the title in them, then fair enough. Aiden said, imagine if we win the league and lift it in that kit instead of the gold one. Still not a bad kit. I like it. The cannon badge goes hard. I don't know if you've seen what... every day Arsenal tend to have a meltdown. For some reason. The meltdown of the day is that Arsenal have announced that the parade is booked for next Monday. So then in the comments, people are going crazy. How on earth are you booking a parade when blah, blah, blah? They don't realise to have hundreds of thousands of people, which there would be if Arsenal won the Premier League, they have to plan it in advance and announce it. I'm going to be honest. There's people in the community who live abroad and live in different parts of the country. If we win the title, I expect some of you, obviously if you know it's within your means, I expect some of the community to be on flights and getting trains and driving. I want to see the community. Can you imagine if somehow a week on Monday we win the Premier League and we're having a parade? It's crazy. However, do you know what? Yeah, you might not need to book the flight until something crazy happens. But just make sure you're available in case, people. See Unit link up a week on Monday. Possibly. It's unlikely, but, you know, possibly. Well, we hope it happens. Zaneid said, I'm on a plane ASAP. Yeah, I expect somebody... Yeah, I like it. I'm getting a flight ASAP. Yeah, we will be there. Yeah, proper. Someone said Boston Celtics. Yeah, Cruz likes the Celtics. They're a great team. They did lose last night to Cavs, though. Donovan Mitchell business. Anyway, transfer news. A few links going around. A surprise one. Arsenal are being linked with a move for Jason Steele. I mean... Arsenal really do know, don't they, how to dampen your excitement levels at times. You know, we're trying to win a title here. And, you know, I want to see us linked with the world's best players. And we're being linked with Jason Steele, the second choice goalkeeper from Brighton. I'd love to get you all excited for this one, people. He's not bad, but... We were talking yesterday about Wojciech Szczesny and obviously Arsenal, it looks as if Arsenal are going to sell Aaron Ramsdale this summer. Arsenal are going to be in a situation where they need to bring in a homegrown player to balance the books. Obviously, you've got to have 8 homegrown players in your squad. Now, Jason Steele turns 34 in August. So by the beginning of next season, he's a 34-year-old goalkeeper. English, second choice at Brighton, never played for England. And will have a year... No, he's got 2 years left on his contract. Sounds like an action movie. I'm telling you, bro. You know what I mean? Spider-Man settings. Jason Steele is believed could be available for around £8 or £9 million. 2 years left on his deal, nearly 34. I did say yesterday when we were talking about Szczesny, I said, look, if we can get Szczesny for 10 million, get the deal done. Because... he counts as a homegrown player because he came through the system. And they're talking about £10 million. So for me, Szczesny is a no-brainer. And I think Szczesny's better than Jason Steele, by the way. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I've seen him a few times for Brighton. He's okay. I'd rather get Szczesny. I've got to be honest. I think Szczesny is a lot better. The issue you've got is, number one, Szczesny is on... bigger wages. I mean, just looking at Jason Steele's wages here, he's on £20,000 a week compared to Szczesny, who will be on far more than that. I mean, let's have a look. How much is Szczesny? How much is Szczesny's wages? Szczesny currently, Szczesny is on £200,000 a week. Steele's on £20,000 a week. So you know that Arsenal like a cheap deal. I expect Arsenal to sign this kind of goalkeeper. I really do. And the reason I think Arsenal will do this is because Arsenal want Raya to be number one next season. Arsenal are not going to sign a high-quality goalkeeper where he's competing with Rayot because they don't want a situation again where in a year one of the goalkeepers wants to leave. They're going to sign somebody that is a clear second choice but is an adequate backup if he's needed. Jason Steele, he's sitting on the bench at Brighton. You might as well sit on the bench at Arsenal, get more wages and live the high life. 20 grand a week. Arsenal can double that up. 40 grand, you'd still be one of the lowest earners at the club. Everyone's a winner. This is the kind of deal I expect to happen. And you're spot on there, TV1. They want a happy number 2, which sounds like a trip to the toilet. But yeah, I know what you mean. They want a guy that's happy to say, listen, I'm at Arsenal. I'll sit on the bench. I'll pick up my wages. I'll play 4 Carabao Cup games, 4 FA Cup games. And, I'll have a good pre-season in America. And this is what we'll do. We're not going to sign a top quality backup. So expect it to be somebody like Jason Steele. And obviously he's English, so that would enable Arsenal. Listen, if you can buy Jason Steele for 8 million and you can sell Ramsdale for, say, 40 million, you've £32 million profit. Man City have had Carson on the bench for about, I don't know how many years. Carson is the 3rd choice, though. It will be a steal, Latte. You better leave alone them jokes. I usually... Frog surrounded by rocks, what a name, says. Big up Big C, headphones in, Jubilee line settings. Big up yourself, bro. Big up yourself. And Ab said, Cape Town to London, we ready. Get the passports ready, people. Passport gang like Tony Yale. It will be a steal, yeah. It will. It will. Would he be stealing a living? Oh, wow. Hey, happy Friday, people. I respect them jokes. I'm a big fan of them dad jokes. I really am. Anyway, let's move on from that. Jason Steele. I won't steal any more of your time. Oh, I tried. It didn't go down as well as I thought. Guna Birdie said, big up Big C, C-Unit Business, rude boy. Let's get Simmons at all costs. Well, we're going to talk about him next. Why not David De Gea, says Peter. I think the problem with David De Gea, number one, not homegrown. So that still requires us to go and buy an English player or a homegrown player. Second of all, huge wages. And third, De Gea would probably say to any club, I want first team football. He's probably got hopes of going to the Euros, maybe going to the World Cup in a couple of years. So, yeah, I'm very surprised, though, when you look around the Premier League, that there isn't a Premier League club that signed David De Gea. Surely he's good enough to play for a lot of teams in the Premier League, but hey. Latte, big up yourself, bro. Thank you for the super sticker, bro. Big up. The parade is on Monday if we win the title. A week on Monday, parade settings. The question is, will the parade be in Manchester with Kevin De Bruyne lifting it, or will it be in London with Martin Odegaard lifting it? That is the question. Anyway, let's move on, people. A couple more transfer rumours, then we'll get into press conference reaction. Arsenal are being linked with a move for Jarell Harto. Is it Hato or Harto? I might be butchering this guy's name, but anyway. Fabrizio has tweeted, Arsenal are monitoring Ajax young centre-back Jarell Harto as one of the best talents in Europe in his position. He's already been scouted for months. Arsenal keep following him. He signed a new deal until 2028, and it is believed he could be available for around £30 million. Obviously, Arsenal have a good relationship with Ajax. We signed Timber from them last season. Just to give you a bit of insight into this lad, this is his breakthrough season. He made 11 appearances last season. He's played 32 games this season. 5'10", 18 years of age. He's left-footed. He plays left back or centre back, and he's seen as one of the best young defenders in Europe. He has just made the Dutch squad as well, and may actually be there for the Euros. He made his debut in a Euro qualifier and got an assist in that game. 18 years of age, very highly thought of in Europe, and apparently a number of clubs in La Liga and the Premier League looking to take him this summer. Ajax have had a very poor season, and they're looking to sell. In fact, there's a rumour today that Henderson might have to be released by Ajax because Ajax have missed out on Europe completely. They finished 5th and will not be in the Champions League, Europa League, or the Conference League. And they're now saying Arsenal may be able to get him for even a little bit cheaper, maybe around 20 to 25 million. Anyone who watches the Dutch League a bit more, Let me know what you think of him. I've seen him a couple of times. I'll be honest, I don't know too much about him. Looks very composed on the ball, good athlete. He's young. I think Arsenal do want to add at the in defence this year, and this guy, with his versatility, being able to play left back and centre back, I think he's a good player. He's a good player. My thing would be, is he ready to play in the Premier League? I hope so, because, he's in the Dutch squad already. So you don't often, get into the Dutch national team is a strong national team as well. He is at Saliba's level of talent at that age. Well, there we go. Listen, I've got no problem Arsenal buying players like this. If you've got that potential to be a future superstar, let's be real, and I'm not being disrespectful when I say this. We paid 25 million for Kivior, and at the moment, Kivior has not been that convincing. In his defence, he hasn't played at centre-back that often. You look at Kieran Tierney, 30 million. You look at Zinchenko, 35 million. They haven't been huge success. So, the fact that he's a natural left footer as well. Can you play him at left-back, natural left-back? You then get Timber back. If you're looking at Harto, Timber, Tomiyasu, Saliba, Gabriel, Ben White, that is proper, strength in depth in defence. Gunnar Roller said he's already captained Ajax, elite mentality for his age. Anyone who knows a lot about him, jump in the comments, let me know. Give me a bit more of a description. I've only seen him a few times. I've been scouting him on YouTube this morning. Chris Fraser said, proper defender. I really hope this link is real. He'll be one of the best in a couple years. Shah said he's a natural left-back who plays centre-back, so maybe he'll actually end up being a left-back. Diamande is the one. Listen, I would love us to sign a left-back and Diamande. I think he's outstanding. I think he's an absolute beast at centre-back from Sporting Lisbon. So anyway, Jarell Harto definitely being linked. Fabrizio confirming it, and I think, listen, when he talks about these kind of links, there's always something in it. Fabrizio is very well connected with the agents, so he gets a lot of inside scoops. So the only thing is sometimes the agent will use Fabrizio to create hype around a player to try and get other clubs to be interested in him. So Arteta is really obsessed with fullbacks. It's funny, isn't it? Arteta has nailed some positions where you go, okay, he signed a player there and it's worked and he doesn't need to do anything else. Right? When you look at, say, for example, Declan Rice, you've completely got that right. You look at Gabriel, who he signed. We're fine there. We don't need to do anything. When you look at left back, you walked in, we had Tierney. You ended up buying Zinchenko. You've tried to put Kivior there. None of those three have solved the problem. You're going to have to put Timber there or sign somebody else. Left back has been a problem. You look at goalkeeper, you walked into Leno and Emi Martinez. You got rid of Emi, you kept Leno, you got rid of Leno, you signed Ramsdale, you got rid of Ramsdale, you signed Raya. Now, Raya is good. I'm comfortable with him being there, but you could argue the best goalkeeper of the lot is the one we got rid of in the first place in Emi Martinez. You then look at striker, you walked into Aubameyang, you started playing him on the left, put Lacazette through the middle, got rid of Aubameyang, got rid of Lacazette, signed Jesus, kept Eddie and Nketiah, you've ended up playing Havertz up front. So we still need a striker that just solves that problem and says, I'm the striker, I score 20 goals, I can hold the ball up, and then you don't need to sign another striker, which is why I think Arsenal just need to sign the very best. Don't go and buy Sesko from Leipzig for 42 million, who hasn't even, proved himself yet. Go and buy Isak and pay 100 million, because sometimes you buy cheap, you buy twice, people. Wenger did it for a number of years. Van Persie went to Man United. This guy signed Podolski. He signed Giroud. He signed Lucas Perez. He signed Danny Welbeck, where in the end, you should have broke the bank and signed Luis Suarez instead of 40 million and a pound. You should have broke the bank and signed Gonzalo Higuain when he left Real Madrid and you let him go to Napoli. You should have broke the bank on multiple occasions. He could have signed Aubameyang earlier in his career. So sometimes going, oh yeah, 40 million and that saves us money. Nah, buy the very best. Benzema, year after year we were linked with him. Salman, you know what? I'll be honest with you, right? Olivier Giroud is a fantastic footballer and a fantastic striker, but he wasn't fantastic at Arsenal because we didn't suit his game. I wasn't a big fan of Giroud at Arsenal, and the fact the guy didn't score for 15 games and cost us the Premier League and cost Ozil the assist record, I'm not a big fan of him. I think Giroud actually was better at Chelsea and has probably been better at AC Milan, and he's been better for France. The problem with Giroud, you need to spam crosses into the penalty area to get the best out of him. That's what you've got to do. And we had Alexis Sanchez, who was a goal-scoring winger, and we had Theo Walcott, who was a goal-scoring winger. So Giroud probably didn't get the right service. When he went to Chelsea, he had Willian, who was a very good crosser of the ball, and they had, Hazard, who was a very good creator as well. So Giroud didn't suit Arsenal. He was a good player at Arsenal. I didn't like him. He frustrated me like crazy. Went to Chelsea, looked better. Went to AC Milan, looked better. And went, and played for France and won the World Cup. So, good player. Didn't suit us. Wasn't the right striker for us. It was Wenger money. Do you know what I heard years ago? And this was a rumour. I don't know how true this was. I heard that Wenger at one stage was getting money out of the profits at Arsenal, which is why the guy never wanted to spend money. How true that is, I don't know. But that was something I heard, and I heard it from a few people, that his contracts was like, listen, if Arsenal make profit, you get a little percentage. Because this guy didn't want to spend money. He was allergic to money, Arsene Wenger. Unknown C said Giroud was a classical 9. Giroud, 15 years ago, when everybody played 4-4-2, he would have been unbelievable at Arsenal. Can you imagine having like a quick striker that played on the shoulder and Giroud as the target man? He would have been amazing, but he wasn't the right striker for Arsenal for the way we played. We needed a quick striker. We needed a Aubameyang with Alexis and Walcott, and them. That would have been a lethal front three. But we didn't play to his strengths, you're right. If you let Havertz take the penalties, he has 25 plus goal assists. Yeah, I mean, ifs, buts and maybes, innit? Ifs, buts and maybes. Anyway, let's move on. Final bit of transfer news before we get into press conference reaction. I don't know if I'm looking forward to that or not. It's usually waffle settings. But Arsenal and a number of other clubs being linked with Xavi Simons. Now, Fabrice Hawkins saying Xavi Simons will not be staying at PSG this summer. Leipzig are in negotiations for the player, with Premier League clubs interested. According to Fabrice, Liverpool, Man United, Bayern Munich and Arsenal are all expected to compete for his signature, although there are reports saying that PSG may not let him go on a permanent deal. Now, if you watch this channel for a long time, you know my opinions on this guy. I think you're looking at a potential future superstar. I do. I genuinely do. Last year at PSV, he got 19 goals and 8 assists playing attacking midfield. This year, 7 goals, 11 assists playing for Leipzig. 2 goals in the Champions League with 2 assists. I think he's an outstanding football player. He's just turned 21. I just think he's a fantastic player. Now, it's believed they would want £60 million to sell him. Now, when you think the buyback clause was £6 million, they bought him back for £6 million last year, PSG, from PSV. So you're talking about a huge profit. You're adding another zero to it, So, listen, just to give you a bit of context, by the way, Simmons' agent is Darren Dean, who is the son of David Dean. David Dean, of course, was the Arsenal, director who dictated everything in the transfer market. Darren Dean is his agent. So, of course, if Arsenal wanted him, it's not a difficult deal to get done in terms of the player. Apparently very keen on coming to the Premier League, can play in the cam role, can play out wide, 21 years of age. There's a lot of possibilities. I suppose the question would be, if you're buying him as an attacking midfielder, is he a better option than buying somebody like Eze, who is Premier League proven, who is a lot stronger? Or do you get the young player? I don't know. I'm a huge fan of Xavi Simons. For me, for £60 million, I'm paying. I'm paying that dough. I think he's a superstar of the future. I really do. He scores goals. He can dribble. He's a Dutch international. Link up with Timber. I just think he's a brilliant, brilliant player. And unknown C, you've got it bang on the money here. A lot of people say online, Arsenal don't need an attacking midfielder. We've got Odegaard. I've said so many times on this channel, you take Odegaard out of this team, we are in trouble. We are in trouble if Odegaard is not playing. Because let's be real, Havertz played attacking mid, was dreadful. No disrespect, he was all over the place. Fabio Vieira, 2 years at the club, he's done nothing. He's done nothing. I'm looking at Fabio Vieira thinking, I don't even know why we paid 35 million for him because we never play him. Smith Rowe attacking midfield, he never plays him. He's being linked with moves. Who's our creative midfielder if Odegaard gets injured? So I think Arsenal should be open-minded to bringing in an attacking midfielder this summer. Whether you go for Eze, whether you go for Simmons, or whether you go for someone else, Arsenal need more creativity. Or you get an attacking midfielder that scores goals. Somebody that maybe is a bit different to Odegaard. Odegaard's somebody who more dictates the tempo of the game. Maybe you get somebody that can carry the ball and score. Now, the interesting thing about this, it says that PSG, when I read the whole article, it does say PSG may not allow him to leave on a permanent. So there could be a situation here that you could get Xavi Simons on loan. PSG might think, listen, we want to keep him as a huge asset, but you can have him on loan for another, for a year. That would be amazing business. Although I know Arsenal apparently don't like signing players on loan unless they have an option to buy. Because obviously, if Xavi Simons came to Arsenal, was a world beater, and all of a sudden PSG go, thanks a lot, you're not signing him, it leaves us in a mess in 1 year's time. So, could we get him on loan with an option to buy next summer, and then we save some money and we can spend the money next summer? That would be smart business. T. Daniel said, but I've read that David Dean doesn't have a good relationship with the club. I think there is a lot of... I think because obviously he introduced the Kroenkes, and obviously Usmanov and co, the club wouldn't allow Usmanov to take over. It didn't seem like Arsenal wanted to go down the same route that Chelsea went down with the rich, billionaire owner from Russia, and the club didn't seem in favour of that. So, but listen, he speaks very, candidly about the club when you hear his interviews. I'm sure, listen, he's a businessman. If Arsenal wanted Simmons, his dad is the agent. He ain't going to turn down the money, is he? So he's not stupid in that sense. We need Eze and Guimaraes profile players. It's funny, sometimes I'm like, you know what, get a Premier League proven player, but then sometimes you think, does it matter if they're Premier League proven or not? I suppose sometimes it does. Some players come here and just don't adjust to this league. Andrei Shevchenko was one of the best strikers in the world. He did nothing at Chelsea. Remember Forlan at Man United, he couldn't hit a barn door. He went to Spain and won the Golden Boot. It happens. Some players just do not adjust to this league. It's so quick. It's so physical, so demanding. You don't get a winter break. The weather is not good. It's different. Exodus said, Curtis, I'm Dutch. Be the first AOTV to pronounce it correctly. Simmons, see as in the seeing with your eyes, and Mons like Mon. Simons. Xavi Simons. What was I calling him? Xavi Simons. Oh, Simons. Simons, my friend. Simons. There you go. Legend of Renegade said, Eze is such a good all-round player, can actually take free kicks, corners and pens, so we won't see Rice and Saka stinking them up anymore. It's... We spoke about it yesterday, man, and Eze, I don't know, he's got an effortless nature about him on the ball that it's like, and like I said, the way the guy caused Declan Rice problems, I was like, yo, you should be in our team. Listen, one thing that we can all agree on is there's options. You can go for Xavi Simons, you can go for Eze, you can go for Elise. There's plenty of players out there that you can go for, so no excuses. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Zach said Rice has been a baller on the corner. What the hell are people watching? KC said, Big C, you believe the lies being peddled by these sports journalists? Arsenal's been linked with every player. These guys are spreading rumors. No, listen, bro. We talk about news and then we break down whether we think it's real or not. If it's from a decent source or somebody that has some info. 70-80% of the players that we talk about between now and the end of the transfer window, we won't sign. That's the reality of the situation. I've done videos about Osimhen, Gyökeres, Sesko, Isak, Ivan Toney. That's 5 strikers. We'll sign one of them. It's the reality of the situation, bro. Like I said, Ornstein was saying, no, Arsenal can't afford Nicolas Pepe. So if, as a content creator, I could have sat there for a week and said, well, Ornstein says we're not signing Pepe, so I won't talk about him. 7 days later, Pepe was an Arsenal player. But yeah, listen, you're right. They will make up a lot of rubbish because they've got to fill articles. This is the reality of the situation. Yohan Deo said, City won with a false 9, still went out and got Haaland and got the treble. We need to learn from that. I got messages yesterday about Jorginho, right? And my opinion was, listen, I have an understanding as to why Jorginho got a new contract, but I wouldn't have given him the new contract. And there was a lot of people going, oh, he's a good squad player, great in the dressing room, he can take the El Neni role. That's cool. I get all of that. I understand everything you're saying, so I'm open-minded to the debate. I think the point that I'm really trying to make, and you've nailed it there, City won the title and upgraded. There was no sentiment. Pep doesn't get caught up and go, oh, do you know what? I love Aguero so much, let's keep him for one more year. He said, yo, time to move on. Raheem Sterling scored a whole heap of goals for Man City. Go about your business, bro. You're done. Mahrez, baller, gone. No sentiment. Now, I understand Jorginho is a backup player, so I'm not expecting the guy to play 35 games. But what I'm saying is Jorginho was a backup player this season. And Jorginho will have played 30 games by the end of this season. So he hasn't been a backup player. We call him a backup player, but he has played for us. Jorginho has been the guy that has played next to Declan Rice. So instead, sometimes I say, don't look at him as a backup player. Look at him and say, if he has to play for us for 25, 35 games, is he good enough to win us the title? And my thing is, if Jorginho has to play 30 games next season, we don't win the title with him in midfield. That sounds harsh, but that's the potential reality of the situation. He did try and keep Gundogan, and Gundogan was absolutely outrageous. He was pivotal in them winning the treble. He did want to keep him, but he wanted a longer contract. Pep don't give a damn. Pep will get rid of anyone at any given moment. You know? Yeah, you're right, because Partey was injured. But imagine next season, Jorginho is our third choice, and we're going, don't worry, guys, only the backup. Somebody gets injured and he plays 30 games. Is he good enough? Man City's backup is Kovacic. As I said yesterday, for me, Kovacic is better than Jorginho, and he's younger than him as well, and more mobile. Anyway, let's move on, people. Let's move on. Let's look ahead now. Let's look ahead. You should always build from a position of strength. Sir Alex Ferguson was the very best at it. He won the title. He'd bin people. Beckham, go. Throw a boot in his head on the way out. Roy Keane, captain, legend. Yeah, on your bike, mate. Forget it. Ronaldo goes to Real Madrid. Do one. Rooney up front, 30 goals. Antonio Valencia from Wigan wins the title. You don't build when you're desperate. You know what I mean? You don't wait until the roof's collapsed and your house has fallen on the floor to start rebuilding. You build a... Oh, what's that there? There's a bit of damp coming out of there, and you rebuild from a position of strength. Finish second, spend more money. Even if you win the title this year, spend 300 million in the summer. 250 million in the summer. Don't sit there and go, oh, they won us the league. I really like these guys. I'm so emotionally attached to them. Yo, win the league, do one. Do you know what? If you win the league, you might even have to be more ruthless. And say, yo, that flavour tastes nice. That taste of success. I'll be more ruthless now because I need to win the Champions League now. So, listen, Ayodeji said, Curtis, you are contradicting yourself. The club can't bring in 4 midfielders. If we let go of Partey, never available, El Neni and Jorginho, would you prefer we just buy midfield? No, because I'm not contradicting myself. Because for me, I'm keeping Thomas Partey. I'm keeping him. He's got a year left on his deal. You ain't getting no money for him. I keep him. So for me, Declan Rice, Thomas Partey, 2 new centre midfielders. That's my 4. Jorginho off the wage bill, 120 grand. El Neni, get rid of him. Cedric, get rid of him. Is 2 midfielders crazy? Like, is it crazy to sign 2 midfielders? I don't think so. If you're smart and you do good business, get Fofana from Monaco, 40 million. Get another 40 million. That's 80 mil. 2 centre mids. Done. There's your midfield. Sorted. Rice, Partey, 2 new centre mids. Done. Keep it moving. Spend 100 mil on the striker. Get yourself a defender. Backup goalkeeper. See you next season. 230. That's what we spent this summer. Not interested in the, oh, he's such a nice guy. Georgie. Let me tell you something. Georgie wouldn't have got a new deal at Man City. And people go, oh, it's Man City. If you're in the 100 metres and Usain Bolt's the guy next to you, that's the guy you've got to figure out how to beat. You've got to get past him to win the gold medal. Unfortunately for us, Man City are our Usain Bolt. We've got to figure out how to get past them. So we have to compare ourselves to what they're doing. Does Jorginho get a new contract at Man City? No, he's getting released. They're sending him to Saudi for 300 grand a week. It's that simple. Or he's going back to Italy and playing for Lazio or something. And I know, listen, he's a squad player. It's not the end of the world. He doesn't play every week. But we've got to get out of this mindset of squad players. For years, Arsenal fans told me, oh, Rob Holding's a good squad player. Rob Holding. Everyone in the chat, you've heard somebody say that to you at some stage. Yeah, but Rob Holding is a decent squad player. Wenger signed him for 2 million. He's no threat to anyone and he's good on the training ground. Look at the guy's career since leaving Arsenal. If you're a good squad player at Arsenal, Rob Holding, how come you can't get a kick at Crystal Palace? How come Roy Hodgson tried to release him 3 months after buying him? They're trying to pay him off, get him off his contract. Can't get a kick. He's playing for Crystal Palace under 23s. El Neni, oh, he smiles a lot. He's such a nice guy. He's got a great attitude. Squad player. The guy should have been released 5 years ago. He's nowhere near good enough for Arsenal. So, anyway, I won't go on about it too long. I won't. But the squad player talk, how many players do you talk about like that at Manchester City? Tell me. How many players do you look at Man City and go, ah, he's a good squad player? Look on their bench. Jack Grealish and who else there? Akanji. You don't look at them as squad players. You look at them and think, you know what? They can start at any given moment and the club isn't going to, the level won't drop. The level won't drop. They're first team players on the bench. That's how you win titles. That's how you win Champions Leagues. First team players on the pitch. First team players on the bench. You're fighting to get their place and so on and so forth. When you have a great team and bench players, when them first team players get injured, you walk into a problem. Because these guys can't hold it down for 50 games. Yeah, Calvin Phillips. Guess where Calvin Phillips is, mate? He's in the bin. Because Pep brought him in. Pep started calling Donny overweight and everything. I think Pep was sitting there going, oh, but he's a good squad player, Calvin Phillips. Let's leave him there. Man's calling him overweight. Listen, Pep's ruthless, fam. Pep don't give a damn. Pep paid 50 million to call a guy basically Homer Simpson. Pep didn't say, oh yeah, but Phillips, a great squad player, always smiles on the changing in the change room and on the training ground. He said, bro, you're fat. He said, lose weight and you're gone. Simple as that. So, that's the roof. I'm not saying I want Arteta to start calling people fat, of course, but I'm talking about the ruthless nature. Anyway, let's talk about the manager. Coleman music. Mickey Roast, the boss. Coleman music. We are 9 days away from either one of the most painful title races in the history as an Arsenal fan. This one could be worse than last season because by last season, the title was done with 4 or 5 games to go. So the last 3 or 4 games, I just accepted it was over. This year, we may actually go all the way down to the wire, as long as we can get past Manchester United. I've been saying all week, approach that Man United game with caution, because I know everyone watched them on Monday. You know, it was absolute annihilation. It was like, up in the street they call it murder. Welcome to Jamrock. Camp with the tugs, them can't done. Like, it was mad. Like, I'm telling you now, Eze and Elise was moving like Damian Marley and Naz. Like, it was wild. Like, South London, man, for a night game is crazy. But listen, you just know, people. Everybody knows. United, they are stinky this season. It's like an all-you-can-eat restaurant, just help yourself. Reality is, somehow they will produce a better performance against us. They just will. It's Old Trafford. Couple players are back from injury. I don't know how, but they will. We've only won 1 in 16 games at Old Trafford in the Premier League. That is actually our bogey ground, along with the Etihad. Manchester, I don't know what happens when we go into that city, but something don't work out. Akeem, big up my bro, he said the Villa game cost us. They all said, why is he going so crazy? He's doing it for clicks and views. They were crying on Twitter. See it there? If we don't win the league, Villa at home, that game wins you the Premier League title. Couldn't finish our dinner in front of goal. But guess what? I'll put Thomas Partey on the bench and not bring him on for the whole game. And knowing Diaby and Leon Bailey are the two quickest players who play right wing, I'll put Zinchenko at left back. We'll see how that works. You know, it's like eating out-of-date food, then being surprised when you got food poisoning. Like, what did you expect to happen? You know, Zinchenko at left back is the equivalent of food poisoning. You know, and that's me being kind, if I'm being honest. There was a whole heap of slander. I was out there like Scarface people on Twitter. You need people like me, man. So you can look and say, there's the bad guy, man. I hope that sounded like Scarface. The more I carried on with that accent, I don't know, it didn't quite work out I expected. But you know what I mean, people. They were coming for me. But hey, E. Ross, it's true, bro. It's true. It is true. Big up my bro, Southern Gooner. Matt, he said, you must strengthen when you're at your strongest, no matter what. Exactly. We need to bring in robust, top draw, top class, and next level. When you go to the gym for 6 months and you get in shape, you say, yo, the abs are abbing, the arms are arming. You don't stop going to the gym. You don't say, right, I'm in great shape, that's it. Takeaway and fizzy drink and chocolate, and I'm just going to do whatever. You give that 2 or 3 weeks, bro. So when you actually go through that and get yourself in shape, you got to continue to go to the gym and turn it into a lifestyle. Arsenal can't sit here and go, oh, well done, everyone, we're in a title race. I keep telling people don't like hearing this. People don't like hearing this. If you applaud not winning for too long, you're doing what Tottenham have been doing. And we look down our nose at Tottenham. What's the difference between Tottenham and Arsenal? Success. Success is the difference. Growing up, Tottenham fans didn't see anything. What did we see growing up? We saw knee slides from Thierry Henry. We saw Bogle from Ian Wright. We saw Bergkamp gluing the ball to his foot because his touch was that good. Spinning dab his ass like he's at the waltzers. That's what we saw. We seen Bobby Pires whipping it in the top bins. If we continue to go, oh, unlucky guys, there's always next year, we'll win it next year. I say, this is the question I always ask people. A lot of people are saying this at the moment. If we don't win it this year, we'll win it next year. I say, explain how we will win it next year. Because last year, people said that this year. Oh, listen, first year going for the title, we weren't quite ready, we'll win it next year. We spent 230 million. Are we going to win it this year? I hope we do. I hope I'm sitting here in 9 days going, I've told you people, I will not be wrong and strong on this channel. I refuse to do it. I will not be wrong and strong on this channel. It is the wrong mentality to have. If Arteta wins the title, I will eat humble pie. I will eat waffles ASMR live on the stream. I will apologize. He will get continuous green screens in the press conference in America. I will say something banter related, but give him his props. He will get all the flowers he deserves if he wins it. If he doesn't, I will continue with the same thought process. You are a very good coach. There is no doubt. The style of football, the philosophy, all of that, it's undoubted, bro. I've got no doubt you are a fantastic coach. Absolutely 100%. What separates Ancelotti's, Mourinho's, Wenger's, Ferguson's, Simeone's, what's the thing that separates them? It is the trophy cabinet. I'm sure everybody in the chat watched Real Madrid the other day. They look like they're finished, they're done, but they win. They come back. And I'm looking at Ancelotti, and it's just the aura. There's an unexplainable aura when you look at him, that you just look at him and go, you're just a pure winner. The guy brought on Joselu, the guy comes on and bags 2 goals. It's just big managers in big moments make them decisions that change games, that win you big matches, that the team never lays down, and that's what we need. If Arteta wins the title, all of a sudden I'm looking at you as you're one of the best young managers on the planet. But if you don't and you continue finishing second, you're Poch with an FA Cup. Because Poch at Tottenham had an exciting team. Danny Rose, Kyle Walker, Dembele, Dele Alli, Harry Kane. They were balling. They were getting to Champions League finals. I was worried about that Tottenham team. I'm not even going to lie. But they couldn't get over the finish line. Next minute, Poch on your bike, mate. So, Arteta, come on. And it's not in our hands. That's the unfortunate thing. That Aston Villa game took it out of our hands. So we're relying on City to drop points. Where will they drop points? And listen, I know. Christo said Arteta is, as a first-time manager, is doing a great job. I mean, for him, he's doing a great job because he's gone from assistant manager to manager at one of the biggest clubs in the world, and he's got us in a title race. It's no problem. That's no problem. But we are Arsenal. And we have to remember who we are and what we represent. Arsenal are a great club because of the success. Success is what makes you a great club. You can't be a great club without success. Aston Villa won European trophies. Nottingham Forest won European trophies. Success is what makes you great. You're not great if you're mid-table. You're not great if you're Tottenham. Tottenham have been getting top 4 for years. Massive stadium, big fan base, but they're not great. They don't win. So I just want the mindset to be, this football club should be winning trophies. 5 years, 700 million, 1 FA Cup. I think he should have more trophies in that cabinet. I respect the fact, listen, Man City going to war with Man City, and it's Pep and it's money and it's difficult. And I understand it might take time. When Arsene Wenger came to Arsenal from Japan and people had never heard of him, did he go in a press conference and say, do you know what, though? Man United make more money than us. They're the biggest club in England, biggest history. They make more on a match day because their stadium's twice as big. I can't compete with him. It's Ferguson. You never heard that mindset. You never heard him talk like that. He said, I'm going to find a way to defeat this guy because I've got the French market on lock. And I'm going to get Thierry. I'm going to get Vieira. I'm going to get Bobby. I'm going to turn this into something else. Did Mourinho come here and go, yo, Chelsea are nowhere near as big as Man United. I can't compete with Wenger and Ferguson and all that history. Mourinho said, yo, give me Drogba, give me him, give me him. Let's be honest, Drogba wasn't the best striker in the world. We didn't know that much about him. Peter Cech was not a world beater at the time. Carvalho was decent in Portugal. He turned them into the best team in England, you know? So it can be done. Thomas Tuchel won the Champions League at Chelsea with Havertz up front and Mason Mount in midfield. Were they world beaters? No, he had a system, a philosophy, and it worked. So we can get there, but we just need to get over that finish line. We need to learn how to win. And Southern Gooner again said, some players are unable to progress beyond our intended destination. They have fulfilled their purpose. Players that were starting lineup players a year, 18 months ago, some of them guys now need to be on the bench. They need to sit down. If Gabriel Jesus is at Arsenal next season, bench. If Zinchenko's still at Arsenal next season, bench. Sit down, relax. Personally, I'd accept offers for those guys, but if we don't sell them, bench squad players now. So the guys we were raving about a year ago, Jesus celebration, call me, sit down now, bro. Level's just gone up. That's what needs to happen at Arsenal next season. Yeah, get no more Mr. Nice Guy. Cedric on your bike, Kelneny on your bike, and Nketiah, that's over. Give up that 14 shirt. Reece Nelson, I mean, it's like a social experiment. When's this guy going to evolve? It ain't happening. Get rid of him. Ramsdale don't want to sit on the bench. Sell him as well. Fabio Vieira, what's the point? You might as well sell him as well. I want to see a ruthless nature from this manager because he ain't going nowhere. Right? I know I'm saying if he don't win it, he ain't going nowhere. He needs to be ruthless. Get rid of these players that aren't good enough to get us to where we need to get to. We can't turn around and say we want to win the league and then give Elneny a new contract. You can't do that. The two things don't add up. Get rid of these guys. Elneny's another Rob Holding. If we released him, I don't know who he plays for in the Premier League. Genuinely. I'm genuinely not sure if Elneny gets in Luton and they're third from bottom. Because their centre midfield is Ross Barkley is nowhere near as good as Ross Barkley. And Sambi Lokonga. And I don't even rate Sambi, but Sambi might be better than Elneny. So you can't have guys like that at Arsenal if you don't even know if you can get into Luton's midfield. So that's where we need to be at. I want to see a ruthless... Well, do you know what? I didn't say ESR, you know. My thing with ESR is this. I think it's harsh to write him off because he hasn't played. It's not like he's played and failed. If you're getting me like a Xavi Simons, a Eze, someone like that, then ESR's story's over. If you're upgrading him, then let him go. I told you, I'm not averse to any player leaving if you're bringing in a better player. Simple as that. If you're bringing in a better player than ESR, he can go as well. You know, but I am a fan of ESR. But yeah, you're right, Matt. Some players, they can't go to that next level. So anyway, let's get through this press conference. I bet there's a lot of waffle. He's all smiles. The eyebrows look good. The hair's shiny. The grey hairs, they've sorted themselves out. Are we 9 days away from heartbreak or absolute jubilation? And a whole heap of humble pie. On Tomiyasu missing training and Saka's availability. We have a few doubts that tomorrow can resolve because we have another train. He says that every single press conference. I heard Tomiyasu hasn't trained the last couple of days, which isn't good. Because that means Kivior or Zinchenko. I mean, the only thing I would say... Who's the right winger for United? Would they play Anthony? Would they play Garnacho? But, yeah. Tomiyasu apparently hasn't trained the last couple of days. Nyamin Waffle, sipping syrup. Can't wait for all day breaks with some deviled eggs on that Coleman music. Coleman music to the world and back, people. Coleman music. Timber, will he make the squad? I'm not sure. I don't think that's the game after an ACL injury that you want to throw him into. I think if Timber's going to play any football, you just play him next week against Everton for the last 20, 30 minutes. I think Old Trafford, there'll be a lot of intensity in that game. You could put him on the bench. If we're winning comfortably, then give him a run-up. On Jorginho signing a new deal. Georgie, he said, I think there are no questions about his contribution to the team, the way he feels about his teammates, about the club, the way we play. He's someone who makes everybody better. It's his main quality. He's still hungry. He wants to win. He wants to win with us. He's happy. His family. For us, it's easy. I mean, yeah. I've said enough. We won't harp on about that. Georgie gets a new contract. On him being Mikel's eyes and ears on the pitch. He's a very important player. Coaches, his game is understanding. He communicates, coaches, people is excellent. You need those types of players. On top of that, he's a role model. It's difficult to find somebody better than him. When he needs to be at it and serious and drive people with him, he does it. When it needs to be fun and relaxing, he's one of the best. Listen, I do understand. Changing rooms need characters. You need people that bring people together. He clearly is one of those characters. I was told in America that Jorginho is one of the talkers of the dressing room by some of the coaching staff. Said, look, Jorginho is the one who said, I think he's the oldest player now in the first team, and he's won a lot. He's won the Euros, he's won big trophies. So It is what it is. He's here. If he's here, then I want him to contribute as best as he can. So that's where we're at. I'm being offered the current title situation at the start of the season. He said I would take that pen and sign it. On what the emotions will be if we don't win the league, he said, my brain always takes me to the players lifting the Prem. That's what my brain is doing. I follow my brain and my gut, and this is how I feel. This is the way I want everybody to think. Hopefully we can achieve it. On Fulham's kite flying team bonding, he said, the power of team bonding, nobody knows what it is. Sometimes you get amazing results. Maybe, listen, if they win that game or draw that game, the kite will actually become a meme, won't it? Tomiyasu, do you know what? It's funny. Last season, I said on this channel, and it was a bit controversial, I said I would sell Tomiyasu. I then sort of changed my opinion because he came back in as a squad player and did well. But quietly, Tomiyasu is unbelievably injury prone. Unbelievably. And for me, is he that good that he can justify being that injury prone? Tomiyasu has not even been a starting player this season. The guy's come back, played a few games from the start, missing training already. Honestly. So he's frustrating. He's very frustrating, but he's just signed a new deal. Big C trying to sugarcoat the Jorginho. Listen, I've said what I've said. There's no point banging your head against a wall, bro. He signed the contract, so you guys know my opinion. Jorginho would have gone for me, but is what it is. Alfred said, not a big Arteta fan, but 700 million to buy 18 to 20 players isn't much. Pep spent $1 billion, and that's after taking over a Premier League winning team with Aguero and Silva. Listen, and I'm always here to discuss facts and information and things like that. First of all, Pep won from season 2. Now, I know he walked into a better team and a better squad, so it was always likely to take Arsenal a lot longer than that, and I understand that. But ultimately, when you rebuild a squad, 50% of it is about who you sign, 50% of it is about who you sell. And I'm afraid Arsenal, when it comes to selling, have been an absolute disaster. And that's just the cold reality of the situation. When City sell, they tend to get at least 30-40 million for players. 35 for Zinni, 45 for Jesus, 45 for Sterling. Palmer goes for 40. I know he's ended up being great, but at the time it was seen as a lot of money for a guy that hadn't really played that much first team. We gave away, the list is so long, Ramsey, Ozil, Aubameyang, Guendouzi for 9 million. Martinez wins a World Cup, 20 million. Leno went for 5 million. Pepe goes for 3 million. So we could have actually spent more money if we'd sold properly and made a couple of 100 million from player sales or 100 million. So, but that's what happens when you have inexperienced people in important roles at the club. On whether it's tough psychologically not being in control, he says it's literally a very clear situation. And to be determined to do what you have to do in the best possible position. It's simple and clear. He said his favourite team bonding activities, we've done a few, we've done trips. David Moyes used to take us around the US, and it was one of the best I've ever had. He loves David Moyes, don't he? He's always talking about Moyesy. And if he has to prepare the players for the outcome of not winning the title, he said, we have to think that it's going to work. We try to be better than our opponents. The outcome is something else. At the moment, it's not in our control. On the form Manchester United are in, he said, I don't think about it. The game has a different context. We know the difficulty and the history when you look at it. So we're going to have to be at our best to earn the right to win. Yeah, and there's more. Socrates, Mustafi, Willian, all these guys went for nothing. We got pennies for them. 3 million for, what's the guy, man? The West Ham centre-back. Who's the West Ham centre-back who we sold to Germany? What's his name, man? I can't actually remember his name. The tall centre-back. He played against us this season. How has his name just eluded me like that? You know the guy who used to play for Arsenal? Mavropanos, there you go. Mavropanos, we sold him for 3 million. They bought him for 20 million. So it just shows, don't it? I had one good year in Germany and 20 million. We sold him for 3 million. crazy. Absolutely crazy. He's a giant, by the way. On our record at Old Trafford, we know what we need to do. First of all, we have to perform at a really high level to deserve to win the match. That's what the focus is. What we will be doing when Man City play on Saturday, said we're going to be training on going head-to-head with City 2 years in a row. We are on a journey to try and catch them and be better than them, which is the aim and what we have to do. It's an inspirational to have this level of opposition. It makes you better if someone challenges you to go further. How difficult it is to beat City, he said. The history of City, they're winning trophies and winning the league. They've been on an unbelievable journey for 10 to 15 years. We want to change that. We're trying to do everything we can to improve. On if Old Trafford is similar to Anfield in terms of the atmosphere to play in, said it's different, but the difficulty there is the quality of the opposition, the quality of the individuals and the manager. It brings a lot of challenges. On personal memories of playing at United, he said, I don't know. I think now we are preparing for the game, trying to visualise how we're going to play. On our 3-1 home win against them, he said it was a game of alternatives. Let's skip it. Does he sympathise with Ten Hag? For sure, at this level, that's the reality. The margins are so small. If I was, I was going to say history of cities. Don't know about history, bro. Very recent history. He's buttering up Moyes so he can do a madness on the final day. Well, Moyes is going, isn't he? West Ham have got rid of him. So, on Jorginho's influence, here we go. Here's the love PR. First of all, as a player, he's a phenomenal player, gives us so much. For the rest of the qualities he has to bring to the team, to the squad, to the club, our culture, I think we are delighted. He's a good player. I wouldn't say phenomenal. I don't think he's ever been phenomenal. Something like a phenomenon. Something like a phenomenon. On Jorginho's character, here we go. It's impossible not to like him in any way. He's a super special person, a great family man with a lot of experiences. He knows how to talk to people. He knows how to inspire people. Certainly, he knows very well how to drive a team and be part of a really important team. Wow! If you didn't want Jorginho at this football club, how can you not? After being flooded with PR like this, he's a phenomenal player. He's a family man. You just couldn't get anyone better. He's a super special person. Do you know what was interesting? They said, Jorginho, what's your favourite memory of Arsenal? He went, actually, I haven't created a memory yet. It will be one from the future. Which I took that as him basically saying, I've won nothing at Arsenal, so I haven't got a special memory. All my best memories were at Chelsea, unfortunately. So, yeah. Georgie. It's Georgie Day, people. The guy is just special. On Mikel's own emotions with 2 games to go, he said, focus on what we have to do. I'm determined to do what we have to do. At the same time, enthusiastic and excited. On where he visualises City dropping points, he said, it's something that's not in our hands. How to prevent us from getting too high or too low, being focused, determining what we have to do. Let's skip. How he feels about City being a juggernaut. You have to keep improving, try and be better than them. On if United have extra motivation against us due to recent refereeing decisions. Said, I don't know how they're feeling, but we have enough to think about. Has he spoken to Bernd Leno or Willian? He says no. Very simple. On his first game at Old Trafford as manager and the evolution since then, he said it moves so fast, let's skip it. On if he still has to psych players up for big games, he said Sunday is not related about lead or not led. It's about moments. It's about trying to transmit certain ideas or bring an analogy into a situation. Let's end it. End it there, people. It's a Jorginho love fest, people. Why don't you just go and get his name printed on the back of your shirt? He's a super special person. He's a family man. How can you not love him? Everybody loves him. But he said he has no great memory of his time at Arsenal. He said he will create one in the future, so we'll hold him to that. Anyway, let's look ahead. United at Old Trafford. OT, it's never much love when we go OT. BBL Drizzy, people. BBL Drizzy. Go and listen to that game diss track to Rick Ross. He's fighting the fight for Drake. Right, it's Arsenal against Manchester United. Still my most... Do I say... Is it my favourite game? I think it is. I still think Arsenal against Manchester United is my favourite game. I'm going to have to move the comment out the way. Just because we can't see Man United because they're in 8th place. I've had to squeeze them on the screen just to so we could have them on the same screen at the same time with Arsenal. Eric Ten Hag. Do you know what? I've got loads of banter in my head right now. I'm gonna be honest. I've got loads of banter in my head, but I'm gonna stay calm. I'm gonna stay humble. Being humble is an important thing in life. Be humble. Be humble. Sit down. Be humble. K. settings. They're an awful team, but I just will never write them off at Old Trafford. I won't. Just to give you a bit of context, Ten Hag had his press conference. He announced in the press conference that Marcus Rashford is back, Scott McTominay is back, and Bruno Fernandes is back. Lisandro Martinez is back in full training, but isn't available for selection. He said Lisandro asked to play against Arsenal, but it would be irresponsible to play him after so long out and a lack of fitness. So we should still expect to see a very lackluster defence. Man United had Johnny Evans and Casemiro at centre-back at the weekend. From what I can see, there is no defender that has come back from injury. So are we looking at Casemiro and Johnny Evans? I mean, if we can't score goals against them, Maguire's out injured, Lindelof's out injured, Cambuala's out injured. They have one fit centre-back, and that is Johnny Evans. Mason Mount is injured as well. So listen, they are short. One thing though, they will have a decent. I mean, I don't rate some of these guys at all, but it will be probably their full strength attack. You know, it will be Garnacho, Højlund, and Rashford with Bruno in the 10. You'll probably get McTominay and Kobbie Mainoo in midfield. They'll probably have Dalot and Wan-Bissaka at fullback, probably Casemiro and Johnny Evans, and then Onana. We have got to completely expose that back four. Has got to get ripped to pieces. You know, they were so bad against Palace. I'm not sure if he can actually play those two at centre-back. I think he'll have to do something else. Keros, you are bang on. How crazy is it? The Arsenal doctor went to Manchester United and they have had injuries galore. I think that's sabotage. I'm telling you. But they will attack us. They will try and score goals. Rashford, I know. You know me on this channel. I'm a big fan of Rashford. I've said before I would take him at Arsenal for the right price. And I know a lot of people in the community don't rate him. But one thing you can't deny, this guy scores against us. We played them earlier in the season. And he scored. And last season, he scored home and away against us, both games. He nutmegged Partey and slapped it bottom corner. And then he scored 2 goals at Old Trafford when they hit us on the counter-attack. So we got to be careful. He always seems to do well against Ben White. So we need to make sure that we cause them problems and score goals against them. We're top of the league, but obviously Man City play tomorrow against Fulham. So psychologically, if they beat Fulham, they would go above us. That then puts a lot more pressure on us. Obviously, if City were to draw or lose against Fulham, it changes it to a totally different game. Then, you know, 2 wins would win us the league. So it's an interesting one. I'm just looking here. Where are Fulham in the league? Ah, no. They're not even on page 1. Where are they? 1 win in 5. I think they're on the beach. They'll be playing in flip-flops. They'll have kites in their hand. I haven't got a lot of hope with Fulham. But as I keep saying, man, it only takes a dodgy refereeing decision, don't it? A red card or something, and it can change anything. Fulham are a concern to me. I wish they were playing somebody else. It might just be that Tottenham game. It might be that Tottenham game, but well, we'll see with that one. Anyway, in terms of the starting 11, what team do we put out? I think the majority of this team now picks itself. The only doubt is obviously Tomiyasu hasn't trained. 10 of the 11 picks itself. It's a no-brainer. Gabriel and Saliba at centre-back. Obviously, David Raya in goal. Ben White at right-back. Realistically, you've got to play Kivi, or if Tomiyasu is not available, I can't play Zinchenko. I'm sorry. I just can't. Assuming maybe Garnacho plays right wing, I can't play Zinchenko against him. The midfield, we should have played this against Bayern and Aston Villa, but it is what it is. We got there in the end, but where would we have been if we'd have played it a bit sooner? And then the front three, I suppose you got to stick with Trossard. He did score. The goal saved him. I was tempted to go Martinelli, but Trossard scored. We need to take our chances against Man United, so you want the finisher on the pitch. Timber, for me, is not ready to start a game like this. I'm not even sure if he'll be on the bench, but if he is, maybe you can give him 10 minutes, 15 if we're winning. But obviously, if Tomiyasu is fit, I would play Tomiyasu. I'm not. And if he trains, I don't think there's no problem. So Tomiyasu, if he's fit, would be the left back. That would be the team. I think you play that next week as well. So there's no need to change this lineup. This lineup, in my opinion, would beat Manchester United. Do I think the Man United game's going to be difficult? Yes. I don't think this is going to be... I've seen people online saying we can get revenge for 8-2. Listen, if we went 1 or 2-0 up in the first 10 minutes... and United are playing Casemiro and Johnny Evans at centre-back like they did against Palace. Don't get me wrong, you'll hear different conversations from me. I'll be saying, listen, what, 2-0 up after 20 minutes? I want 7-0. I want 6-0. I want us to annihilate them. But I'll be real, if you gave me 2-1 now, 1-0, scrappy win by 1 goal, I might be fuming at parts during the game, but trust me, I'll take it. Trust me, this is result over performance. Completely. This is result over performance. If we can get the result and the performance, cool. Don't buy into too much the fact of how bad Man United are at the moment, because somehow they have turned up in some big games, particularly at Old Trafford. They drew with Liverpool in the league at home. They beat Liverpool in the FA Cup at home. They're not terrible at home. They beat Villa at home. They drew with Tottenham at home. They only lost 1-0 to Bayern Munich. They beat Chelsea 2-1 at home. They're no mugs at home. The only team that's really dealt with them is Man City. Man City beat them 3-0 at home. They have lost to a couple of other teams. But listen, if we can't beat this Manchester United team, then, you don't deserve to be in the title race, is what I'm saying. This Man United team stinks. They will have a go at us because that front three, Rashford's got a good record, Garnacho's decent, Højlund, I don't think is that good, but he does put in a lot of work. And Bruno's Bruno, shoot and pass every time he gets the ball. We have got to just put them on the back foot. You've got to score early. You've got to keep that crowd quiet. And then you've got to take the game away from them. Because that crowd will turn on that team and manager quickly. They must be fuming with that team. Man United have gone from can they get in the Champions League to they might not even get in the Conference League. At this moment in time, they're 8th. You don't even get in Europe with 8th. And they're 2 points off 6th, which would get them Europa League. 7th gets them Conference League. They're almost definitely not getting Champions League. So for a guy that finished 3rd last year and won a trophy, I'm telling you now, if we were 2-0 up inside 20, 30 minutes, them fans will turn. They're starting to call for the manager's head. The players look like they've given up. They've got an FA Cup final round the corner. They should still be motivated. So we've got to go there. The atmosphere will be lively. It's Arsenal against Man United. For me, still, over the years, it's been the biggest game in the Premier League. Hasn't been for a while because we're not winning titles. Saka, listen, apparently he missed part of training. I've always said if Saka can walk, he will play. And he can walk, and he will play. I think it's a precaution. He had that cut. Apparently, there was a lot of strapping on his leg because of that, not injury, but that tackle that he got last week against Bournemouth. Obviously, they don't want it to open up if he got a bad challenge. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win. I'm going to go for 3-1. I think we will have too much for Man United and that defence. And I just think Man United give you too many chances. They've only got Johnny Evans. I think he's the only fit centre back from what I read. So I just think we'll get chances, and I think we'll punish them. I think we'll punish them. I wouldn't be surprised if we conceded a goal on the counter attack. But I'm going to go for 3-1 to Arsenal. But as I said, if I see Arsenal go a couple of goals up early, my prediction will change. But on the flip side, this is a dangerous game. It does have an element of danger. When Liverpool went there, that result, those two results for Liverpool against Man United derailed their season. It derailed them. They knocked them out the FA Cup, so that was, there you go, you ain't winning no quad. And then they drew with them in the Prem despite absolutely dominating the game. And you could argue Man United ruined Liverpool's season. So I'm not going there, saying 5 or 6-0. I don't think you will see that Man United performance you saw against Palace. Rashford's back, McTominay's back, Bruno's back, and they're at home. They will have to respond. They've also got an FA Cup final in 2 weeks. If you're the manager, you're looking at those players saying, listen, you guys don't turn up in the next 2 games. You're not starting at Wembley. I think you will find a bit of motivation from those players. So, listen, people, I've been on for an hour and 25. Really appreciate you tuning in. Hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't already. We're nearly at 78k, I believe. I think we needed about 50 subs. We need about 25 now, so we're halfway there. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button on your way out. Enjoy the rest of your Friday, and I will see you over the weekend, people. Bless.